Hey, what's up everybody? So this is the first look at the Novritsch Scopecam, which is available at his shop right now. First, let's go over the package. It is quite nice. With this camera you will get the Novritsch video creation course in a format of a video. So this is what you are getting. First you see the camera, some accessories, that's it. So we are getting a screwdriver, spare screws for attaching the camera to your gun, as well as the cable. These are quite handy because these can get lost quite easily. Then there is the camera with lens cap. You can have this sitting on your gun and just put this on so that the lens is protected. Actually, there is protection glass and then comes the lens. So if you are playing, this gets shot out, you can just replace it, which is quite useful. Because at the last game, this is what happened to me. I get shot actually twice in this camera, so having something like this, which protects the lens itself, is really useful. You never know what can happen. Then just a piece of foam, English manual, which is not too long, just the most important stuff. Another piece of foam and the battery. Okay, so the camera comes basically ready to play. The housing is made from aluminium, I guess. It's quite sturdy, there won't be any problem if this gets shot by a BB. You just open the door, put your battery inside, as well as your SD card, HDMI and mini USB port for charging your camera. With this cable is actually, the size is quite nice because it can go from your power bank right to the camera. Not too long, not too short. I guess this is the perfect size for that. Let's put an SD card in. So the contacts should be facing upwards. Let's push it in. That's it, it clicks in place. Close the door. And now basically there's nothing you need to do. You don't need to pair it with your phone because everything is already set. I already taken a look at this on my phone. I'm gonna show you how to do that. But there is nothing you need to do. It will start recording, the settings, everything is done, everything is prepared for gameplay. So you can put this on your scope. Let's make it like this. So you can take your scope, just unscrew it a little bit, put it on your scope, just like that. You press the power button. You can connect your camera to the power bank if you have one. Otherwise you will probably need to buy more batteries. Just connect it, push the button, now it starts blinking. That means that it's already recording. That's it, no more hassle. Unlike the other cameras on the market where you need to buy the camera, this is the Foxeer Legend 3, this is Foxeer Legend 2. With these two cameras there is a wide lens, which is not useful for a scope cam because the angle is just too wide, so you won't really see what you are shooting at. So the problem with these cameras is that you need to take them apart, or first you need to buy this lens or any other lens which will fit your need. This is a 35mm lens, f2.0. You need to buy this lens, you need to take apart the camera, you just need to unscrew this. I have a tutorial for this, so you can look it up, or I'm gonna link it somewhere here. You need to unscrew this, take the camera apart. You need to unscrew this lens, which is sometimes glued with screw glue. So there is a potential to damage the internals because sometimes it can be really pain in the ass to unscrew it. Sometimes you even need to warm it up a little bit with heat gun to make the adhesive a little bit strong, a little bit softer. So that's a hassle. You will need to know which lens to buy, then you unscrew this lens, you will need to screw this lens in, and then the problem is that it's not focused. So you will need to connect this to a TV or possibly to your phone through the app, and then you need to slowly turn the lens until it's perfectly focused. It's not that easy. I don't like the process of this. It's just more steps, more things can go wrong. With this camera, you just buy it, put it on your scope, and then it's basically done. Yeah, another problem with these two cameras or basically any other camera is that on the back side there is no way to attach this to your scope. So here you can see that the adapter is already part of the housing, which is quite handy, because in order to put this here with the lens, you will need something like this, which is basically just a standard rail, but I needed a machine to do a smooth surface. Then I took a double-sided tape, really strong one. I just put it there, and yeah, then I could place it like this. But that's another step, which is not really necessary now, because you can buy this and that's it. So I like the idea of having everything ready to go. So the other nice thing about this camera is you can place it like this on your scope, or there is the possibility to change to vertical. So you just push this a little bit out, you turn it, you put it back in place, so it will no longer say horizontal but vertical here, and then you can mount it like this to the side of your gun. And the image won't be in horizontal, but it will be vertical. So you basically change the orientation in the image to have it leveled with the ground. That's another nice feature of this camera. Last but not least, as I said, there is a protection glass. Well, the whole lens. The lens is basically the same. It is inside of this protection cap. So the lens is actually protected from all sides. It looks like this. You can replace this with the glass, so if this gets shot out, you can just, I guess, replace it, glue it in, or if you don't have one, maybe he will be selling these as well. I'm not sure about that. And yeah, you cannot bump this lens. It's just closed inside of the metal housing. So no BB can damage the internals of this camera. Even this back plate is metal. Unlike this is just all plasticky. So that was the first look at the Novritsch Scopecam made by Runcam. And now enjoy the footage. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe, and see you in the next one.
So after watching the sample footage, it looks to me that maybe the lens is not really focused properly and that maybe it can be improved a little bit. And also maybe it was the low temperature that affected the video quality. So take this sample footage with a grain of salt. I'm gonna try to improve the quality by focusing the lens and maybe changing the conditions. And yeah, I'm gonna let you know how it looks.
Before I end this video, I'm gonna show you how to connect the camera to your phone and make the settings. So let's turn it on. The camera is turned on. Then you press this button, and now here you can see that the Wi-Fi is ready to connect. So let's open up your phone, go to the Wi-Fi settings. Here you see Runcam, Scopecam, and some number. So just tap this, connect. Now I already connected mine to my phone. So normally it would ask you to input your password. The password is just 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. You just type it in, don't forget the 0. Press OK, it connects just like this. Then you can open the app, select the Runcam Scopecam, connect your camera, and that's it. It beeps so that it's connected. You can see the live view. That's you guys, but it's blurry because it is actually focused like 20 meters away, so everything up close is really blurry. Maybe we can try further away. Okay, now you see that it's getting a little bit better, but yeah, it is a little bit better. So all the settings you have here, like I said at the beginning, you don't need to touch any of these settings, because it's already set. This is the saturation. I wouldn't go with the saturation too high because you can always add saturation to your image easily. Then you have contrast. I wouldn't go too far right again because you can always add contrast, but if you already add too much contrast into the footage, then it's harder to take it away. Brightness. Here you have sharpness. Then white balance, I would always have it on auto because then the camera is gonna adjust itself. Exposure value 0 should be just perfect, otherwise it would be too dark or too bright. Here you have the FPS settings and resolution, 1080p, which is like the sweet spot for most people, I would say. 60 FPS. Normally you would use 30 FPS, but for the smooth shots or maybe even for slow motion shots where you see the BB coming to the target like really slowly, which looks pretty nice, you can use 60 FPS, and here you have the bitrate. I would always suggest to keep this as high as possible for the most quality footage. You have different modes, burst mode, time-lapse, photo. Now the camera is gonna set itself to photo, confirmed with nice audible beeping. And video, you don't need any of these settings for this particular camera because you will basically just record video. You can make it bigger. If you disassemble the lens and maybe you need to focus the lens again, you can make it bigger on your phone to see, okay, it's sharp or is it not sharp. Here you have the gallery where you can play your videos. Here we go into the advanced settings. Auto sync time, I will leave this on. Date stamp on the footage, you don't want to be this on, so just leave it off. Feedback beep, that's really useful because when you do something with your camera, it beeps so that you know it's set. Auto shutdown, if you just turn on the camera while playing and you just leave it on, recording, then you can let this be like 3 minutes so that, because you will be recording the whole time, so it won't shut down. But if you are turning off the camera, like when you get hit, if you want to turn off the camera, so you can use this function to just make sure the camera is off and you are saving battery. But you will need to remember, okay, I got to turn the camera back on so that you can record. Volume, I would leave it like somewhere in the middle, because if it's too high then the audio is gonna be distorted. So standard it's +3, so I would leave it like this. Auto recording, when you turn on the camera it starts recording. I don't like to use that because I can just press the button, I hear the beep, so I know it's recording. It's just my personal preference. Loop recording, I would always have this off, because if you run out of storage, it would start replacing the footage that you already recorded by new footage. You don't want this to happen. You can just swap the SD card and that's it. Power supply frequency. In the US and in Europe, I believe there is a different frequency that the lights are adjusted to, I would say. So if we are playing in Europe, I'm not entirely sure about this, but if we are playing in Europe, I would leave it at 60 Hz, at 50 Hz, because otherwise it wouldn't be synchronized. It would like start blinking and doing some weird stuff. If you are playing in the US, I believe 60 Hz is the way to go. But don't take my word for that. I think Novritsch is gonna make a video about this, how to adjust it, so just watch the video and he'll tell you more about that. Full screen TV out, okay, you just make it full screen, some icon, okay, whatever, you don't need that. You can change the name of your camera, how it should be displayed on Wi-Fi. If there is more players playing at the same field with this Runcam, you just know, okay, this is mine. You can change the password as well, but there's no need for that because the camera is gonna be just recording, so I guess that can stay like this so that you don't forget the password. Wi-Fi turn off, I would leave this on like 3 minutes or maybe even 1 minute, because having Wi-Fi turn on, it just takes up the battery. It's not really necessary because you don't need Wi-Fi in order to play and record the videos. Turn on Wi-Fi automatically after powering on. You don't really need that because in the field you will not be connecting your your camera to your phone because everything should be already set. And you can always turn it on by pressing this button right here. So no need for that. Here you have some information about the SD card and you can format the SD card. Always when you take your SD card and you put the footage to your computer, I would suggest to format your SD card in the camera. It's gonna format the SD card to the right file system and bits and whatever. So the camera knows what it needs. I would just format it in the camera so that everything works perfectly. And if you screw something or if you are not sure what settings you need, you can always restore factory settings. It's gonna delete every changes you made and it's gonna work again. And here you can see the firmware version of the camera. Sometimes you can check whether there is a new firmware update. It's always good to have the latest firmware so that everything works flawlessly. Okay, I guess that's everything you need to know. As I said, the camera is ready to go. You can just put it on your scope, turn the recording, and everything is fine. Everything will work. So if you like this video, thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe for more, and see you in the next one.